One of the most listened to voices on the airwaves, Charlamagne Tha God, was an outspoken Harris supporter after she replaced Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee. I've spoken with him several times as this race unfolded, and after Election Day, I returned to his New York studio for his reaction to Trump's victory and what it means for the country. So look, this was obviously not the result you wanted, but I've heard you say you're optimistic today. Why?
Because I have no choice but to be. You know, I'm an American. I live in America. I'm not one of these people that's out here saying, oh, my God, if Donald Trump becomes president again, I'm going to move. Where am I going? Yeah. I'm here. And, you know, I do believe in the future of this country because I have no choice but to. You know, I think what the vice president said in her concession speech was right on point when she said, you know, the light of America's promise still shines bright. I have no reason to feel otherwise. I'm gonna wake up, you know, and just be all doom and gloom and tell everybody the world is ending. It's like, no, you know, Americans went out there and it was a free and fair election and they made a choice. And now we all have to deal with, you know, the consequences of that choice. And whether we like it or not, you know, Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. I know it feels like the divided states of America right. over the last, you know, several years. But it is still the United States of America. So that's what I'm looking for us to do. We got to unify in some way, shape, or form.
You were out there. I saw you at the convention in Chicago. You interviewed Kamala Harris a couple times. Were you surprised?
That she lost?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say surprised. You know, surprised isn't the word that I would use because it's a toss-up. Like, you know, it was going into the election, you know, they were neck and neck. I think that she needs to get a lot more credit than she probably is going to get because the campaign was dead. You know, literally.
With Biden.
Oh, yeah, the campaign was dead with Biden. I know people make a lot of jokes about the whole Weekend at Bernie's thing, and they would say things like, I would vote for Biden if he was a corpse. Well, he damn near was. And, you know, there was no life whatsoever. And I think that the vice president made a lot of people sit up on the couch and pay attention and at least be curious. With Biden, everybody was just knocked out, sleep, gone.
Have you talked to her since the loss?
No, I haven't, but I can't wait to.
What are you going to tell her?
I'm going to tell her I love her, I value her, I appreciate her, and, you know, whatever she plans to do moving forward, I'm going to always support her, and I'm going to say what I've, you know, been saying on the radio and on my podcast, that she has nothing to be ashamed about. You know, she ran a great campaign and only had 100 days to do it. Nobody thought she could even do, you know, what it is that she did. Like, you know, the first day getting all the delegates in line, you know, raising the money that she raised, you know, digging the campaign out of a hole to where they were neck and neck on Election Day. And she inspired a lot of people. Like, I got 4 daughters, and my 9-year-old and my 6-year-old, when I'm watching, you know, This Week ABC on Sunday morning, or I'm watching CNN or Fox or MSNBC, they're coming in and they're asking me questions about Vice President Kamala Harris. And they were, are you going to vote for the Vice President, Daddy? Yes, I'm voting for the Vice President. And when she lost, they were upset that she was lost. So, you know, she did inspire a lot of people, and it was a historic campaign.
What do you make of the demographics here? I mean, Trump got 1 out of every 3 voters of color.
No.
Yeah.
1 out of
33%.
No. Really?
Yeah.
When you say color, you mean like black, brown, everything? Oh, well, I think that, you know, people have different issues that they care about, and I think that there's nobody out there that's a single-issue voter. I think some of this is a backlash to race and gender and identity politics, but, man, most people, they just care about keeping food on their table and keeping a roof over their head, and I think sometimes people forget about that. I think that they forget about, you know, the working class, and for whatever reason, Donald Trump speaks to the grievances of the working class in a real way. And I keep telling folks, people will forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And when you go back to 2020, even though it was a pandemic and it was COVID,
yeah,
people don't care. All they know is they got stimulus checks with his name on it, and that's what they remember. And so people think about that. When you have conversations with folks, they be like, yo, I remember how 2020 felt. And they think that they're going to feel that, you know, in this next term.
Yeah, I mean, how do you explain? I mean, he obviously swept the battleground states. He drove up, you know, turnout around the country in Republican areas, but he did much better than he had done before in places like Chicago, Brooklyn, Queens.
Because of dinner table issues. It's literally that simple. Every day, people wake up and all they want to do is have more money in their pocket and they want to feel safe. I don't care if you're black, white, gay, straight, whatever religion you are, those are the two things that you're thinking about every day. How can I keep some money in my pocket, and how can I stay safe? And when you look at, issues like the economy, when you look at the border, and that's what I was telling people. We had this conversation back in February.
Yep.
I was having conversations with folks, and they was telling me, oh my God, these gangs are coming into our neighborhood, and I know it's because of the border. We got to close the border. Like, they were having these conversations. And I told you, John, this was the first time in my life that I heard people in my community, black people, brown people, having those conversations. So that was going to be an issue. They felt like things were safer. They felt like the border was safer, under Trump. And by the way, it's not like the Democrats didn't want border security. They just didn't know how to message it right. Build the wall may sound elementary, but you know what that signals to people? Border security. That's it. Yeah. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't complicate it by saying, oh, we got to have the most comprehensive border plan. And, there's a bipartisan, border bill that Democrats and Republicans couldn't agree on. And Donald Trump shot it down. No, Trump is saying build the wall. And when they were telling you that it was a problem, y'all was saying, no, it's not a problem. Let's create sanctuary cities and let's bring, the people into our cities. And so when they started putting those, illegal immigrants on the buses and on the planes and sending them to those sanctuary cities, what did they say then? No. Don't come. So it looked like the Republicans were right and Democrats were wrong. And nobody knew that was going to be one of the big central issues that people thought about when they went into that voter booth.
Should Harris have done more to make it clear she wanted to go in a different direction from Joe Biden? Or did she want to go in a different direction?
I think that if she wanted to go in a different direction, she should have expressed that. And once again, that goes back to messaging, that goes back to communication. I've been telling folks the language of politics is dead. You cannot finesse people anymore. You can't believe one thing, but then get in front of people and tell them something else. And if you are, you got to be really good at it, right?
Yeah.
What do I always say? Republicans are more sincere about their lies than Democrats are about their truth. So when she's on The View and she's shaking her head like, no, I wouldn't do anything different. But then you on Fox News with Brett Baer, and you like, my administration is going to be totally different than a Biden presidency. If that was the case, I just think that should have been repeated several times. Like, one thing that she said when I had a conversation with her was repetition is good. Like, that's part of being disciplined, right? You have to repeat yourself over and over and over. That might have been one of the issues that she should have repeated herself over and over and over on.
So you had Laura Trump on the show the weeks before the election.
After Trump won, I just sent her a message and told her, hey, congratulations. And I said to her, I hope that this administration is going to be an administration for all Americans. And she said, thank you. I promise, in capital letters, that it will be. Listen, man, I think that we've seen enough of Donald Trump to know that may not be the case. But like I said, I just have to have a sense of optimism because he still is the president of the United States of America. And I just want us, like I said, as a people moving forward, we got to start building more community amongst each other. And, we just got to hope for the best. Like, I'm not wishing for America to fail. Why would I want that?
Our thanks to Charlamagne.